The courtroom fell silent as Marcus walked in, dressed in a simple suit, carrying a worn-out briefcase. Whispers echoed around the room. Everyone thought he was the defendant. But when he took his place at the front table, confusion spread. The judge chuckled under his breath, "You're representing yourself?" Marcus nodded calmly. The bailiff tried to hide his grin, while the opposing attorney smirked. They thought it was a joke, a man from a poor neighborhood daring to take on a corporate legal team. But Marcus wasn't here to prove them wrong with words. He was here to prove them wrong with truth. And behind that calm expression lay a mind sharper than anyone in that courtroom could imagine. As the trial began, the opposing lawyer spoke confidently, presenting evidence and throwing around legal jargon like confetti. The judge nodded, clearly impressed. But Marcus sat quietly, taking notes on a small pad. When it was his turn, he stood up slowly, his voice steady but filled with quiet authority. He began asking questions that no one expected, a rhythm that made the courtroom lean in. He exposed small cracks in the witness statements, found errors in the documents, and even pointed out a law that the opposing side had completely overlooked. The judge stopped laughing. The room, once full of mockery, was now heavy with respect and curiosity. Marcus's story wasn't one of luck. He had spent months studying law after being wrongly accused in a previous case years ago. He couldn't afford an attorney back then, so he learned every line, every clause, every argument himself. It became his mission to never be silenced again. When this new company tried to take away his family's small home over a contract loophole, he refused to back down. What they didn't realize was that Marcus had spent nights under the dim light, reading law books from the library, preparing for this exact moment. He wasn't just fighting for himself, he was fighting for every person who had been underestimated. The judge leaned forward now, no longer laughing. Marcus brought forward evidence the company thought was buried, emails, dated letters, financial reports that contradicted their entire defense. Each piece fell into place like a puzzle. The crowd in the courtroom began to murmur in disbelief. The opposing attorney tried to object, but Marcus remained calm, replying with confidence and citing legal precedent that silenced the objection. The judge's expression changed from amusement to awe. This wasn't just a self-taught man, this was someone who understood justice at its core. As the trial stretched on, Marcus's humility shone brighter than his intelligence. He spoke about fairness, about truth, and about how justice should never depend on money or appearance. His words carried emotion that textbooks couldn't teach. The jury listened, deeply moved by the way he spoke, not just as a defendant, but as a human being demanding respect. Even the judge seemed reflective, realizing how often people were judged before they even spoke. Marcus's presence was a reminder that brilliance can come from anywhere, and that wisdom doesn't always wear a fancy robe. When the final verdict came, the room was still. The judge cleared his throat, voice trembling slightly as he read the decision. Marcus had won, completely. The company was ordered to compensate him, and his family home was declared safe. But what struck everyone wasn't just his victory, it was his composure. He didn't celebrate. He simply smiled, thanked the court, and walked out with quiet dignity. The same people who had laughed now stood to applaud. Even the judge joined them, his eyes filled with a strange mixture of pride and guilt. Outside the courthouse, Marcus stood under the sunlight, his briefcase still worn but his spirit unshaken. Reporters surrounded him, asking how he managed to win against seasoned lawyers. He smiled softly and said, "When you know the truth, no one can take it from you." His story spread across the nation, an inspiring tale of courage, perseverance, and faith in oneself. That day, the judge learned something priceless: never judge a person by their appearance, because sometimes, the most powerful minds are found in the most unexpected places. And Marcus, he walked away not just as a winner in court, but as a symbol of justice itself.